Hi, I'm Susan Kennard, and I just wanted to have a bit of a chat with everybody. My background is science, so I'm a spiritual scientist, and I've spent many, many years looking at the emotional causes of dis-ease, etc. And I just wanted to have a chat with people if they wanted to comment on how people are feeling about what's going on in the world. There seems to be some interference on this. I'm not sure why. If anyone's watching, could they just let me know if they can see me okay, or if the video just keeps going weird? I have no idea why. It's kind of a bit weird. But anyway, my background is psychology, psychotherapy, and I also trained in mental health, and I'm a naturopath as well. And I'm a channel of source. So essentially what that means is I'm a medium, and I channel information and source. So when I work with people, I can see into the body, I am told exactly what's going on, and I specialise in trauma as well. So I specialise in working with PTSD and childhood trauma, and I work with the Akashic Records. In fact, I have a big toolbox. But the reason why, hi, thank you. The reason why I wanted to do this live this morning is I'm somebody who likes to be informed about everything. So that's the scientist bit of me. The scientist bit of me is like, don't tell me what to do. I want to find out for myself. So what I've been doing is I love Bruce Lipton. So Bruce, I've met Bruce, and he's an amazing guy. And he spent many years in the medical field teaching as a cell biologist, and then realized that a long, long time ago that the environment of the cell was really important with our health and our belief system. So obviously he talks about the biology of belief. But when I trained as a naturopath and in neuropsychology and in meta health, I learned about germ theory, and I learned about the environment of the cell, and I learned about how we can heal ourselves. And the thing about germ theory, and I have actually posted it on my Facebook feed, and this is from Wikipedia, so everyone can look at it. So the thing about germ theory is you've heard of pasteurization. Okay, so pasteurization came in from a guy called Louis Pasteur. And germ theory is essentially that, something will, we have to kill something that has come into our cell that is bad for us. And Beauchamp was part of that discovery at the time. And Beauchamp's theory was that there had to be a host within the cell. So it was about the environment of the cell. So very much what Bruce Lipton talks about. So it isn't that we need to actually kill something. And when I work with people who have quite a deep picture of dis-ease, a message in the body, I always talk to people about realizing that they can love every single cell of their body. So if you're loving every single cell of your body, you're essentially loving the message that your body is saying to you. And so if you're loving the message that your body is saying to you within your cells, within your field, within your whole body and your mind, then you're starting to heal your body. And if you have a fear or a fight or a battle, or you feel you need to kill something within your body, then essentially what you're doing is you're sending the opposite message. Okay. So you're sending the message that essentially you're killing yourself, or you're fighting yourself, or you're battling yourself. So if you think about it that way, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That if we're looking at ourselves as this incredible quantum being, we're a being of light having a human experience. So if you look at that in quantum physics, you're looking at that there's no separation to the universe. So we, our body and our soul and our experience is part of the universe. So if we're looking at it like that, and this is evidence-based, when we look at quantum physics, we're not looking at something that someone's just kind of made up. We're looking at evidence-based, that, we literally are part of the universe. And I call this the unified field of consciousness. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video is really just to open our hearts and open our mind to the possibility that can't get us, okay? And so when we're looking at what's going on in the environment, and we're looking at, I have to kind of be careful of the words I use on here, because obviously there's a lot of censorship going on at the moment with freedom of speech. So if you think about what is covering your face, so some people are choosing to cover their face now, you know what I mean by that, right? So what are we actually doing there? Okay, so there's a fear that something outside of us can get us. Okay, that's the first fear. The second fear is that somebody else can do something to us. Second fear. Third fear is I have to stop something from happening to me. Okay, so then we're talking about those little needles that go into you that contain stuff. Okay, so that's how I'm going to say it. And so if we're looking at that, we're looking at one emotion, and that emotion is fear. Okay, and so when I work with people and I'm looking at trauma and I'm looking at dis-ease, I always work with fear first. And the reason for that is because there's an expansive line of emotion that comes from fear. And there's numbness, there's fear, there's anger, there's neutrality. And then we go into acceptance, compassion, and then love. And so what we really want to be at is obviously compassion and love and acceptance. But anger and mistrust, etc., 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 comes from fear. Okay. And if you imagine fear and love being two different vibrations, so we have fear as a dense vibration of, and my groups will laugh if they're watching, eating curry every day. So if you ate curry, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and probably an evening snack, that's quite heavy, isn't it? I mean, we all like curry. I love curry, but actually I wouldn't want to eat it for every single meal. And then if we imagine love as this incredible, juices, green juices, fresh food, whole foods, then we're looking at what we're putting in our body. So if you imagine those two, like on a scale, imagine that you're putting all that fear into your body. So when I trained as a naturopath years ago, if we're looking at the light within a cell, when we're looking at love, does it feel like we have more light, or does it feel like we have more density? Okay, so if you look at it that way, if you're looking at the cell and you're looking at the light coming into the cell, we want to really fill and feel that cell with love, don't we? We don't want to fill it with density. So it's possible to think this way. If we could just open the box and think outside of it just for a moment, and just think of what are we actually doing? And this isn't to tell you what to do. I never ever tell people what to do. I just like to come from a place of informed knowledge. So there's a big thing about informed consent at the moment going on, definitely here in the UK. And so what is that about? Have we lost our ability to choose? Have we lost our ability to think for ourselves? And have we lost our ability to come really into that inner knowing that is key for us to make any decisions? So many years ago, a good 6-7 years ago, in fact, much longer than that, actually, what am I talking about? Probably about 12 years ago, when I trained as a naturopath, from Barbara Wren, and Barbara Wren was amazing, and she was way ahead of her time. And she spoke about how the body will never, ever, ever do anything against you. It will always, always, always try to help you understand what's going on. Now, some of you may say, yeah, but you catch things, things happen to you. I'm not talking about accident here. That's another story, okay? But I'm talking about at cellular level, like real health level and cellular level, what's going on. When we do something and we choose to put something, let's just say, into our body from a place of fear and from a place of just in case, then what message are we giving to those cells? Just have a think about it from the perspective of unconditional love and fear and light and density. Okay. The other thing about that is that when we're putting something into our body, unless it's in through our mouth, because then we have the bouncers at the door that kind of say, oh yeah, that's okay, that could come into my mouth, or I'm just going to cough it out, or I'm going to be sick, or something like that. Yeah. So we reach, or we just don't put that in our mouth. So if we're putting it in the back door, so if we're thinking about the back door, and what I mean by that is, how can I say this without censorship? A needle, let's say, containing something that is a just in case. If we put that into the muscle, if we put that into the body without it going into the mouth with the bouncers at the door, it's a shock, it's a trauma, it's something that the body goes, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do with that? Okay. And so it goes against the whole nature of what our cells are meant to do. All right. So it goes against the whole nature of our ability to heal. And so I just really want to kind of open the doorway for questions with that, question answer, because I think it's really important for us to kind of have informed knowledge. I'm not a doctor, okay, but I am a psychologist and a psychotherapist, and I am trained in working with the body and the brain relays and understanding the metaphysical causes of why we have these messages in our body, okay? So I come from that perspective. And I'm never going to tell you what to do. And so this message I'm giving here today is not you should, you shouldn't. I just want you to be informed. And so when perhaps you get the letter or you're told what to do, have a think about it. Have a think about, how does that feel to you? Does it feel that it resonates with you? Does it feel that you it's something essential? Feel into it and really come into your heart space, because that's where your answers are, in your heart space, in that part of you that has all the knowing. I can't give you that answer. The government can't give you that answer. The doctors can't give you that answer. No one can give you the answer. You have to find that answer within. So really think about what's going on for you in the outside world at the moment. How is it affecting you? Do you feel that honestly there's something outside of you that can get you? Do you feel that by feeling that you go into a fear response, which is basically fight or flight? It's a sympathetic nervous system versus the parasympathetic. So you're going into that part of the nervous system which puts you on high alert, which shuts down your digestive system. If you put something over your face, and you know what I'm talking about, you're stopping the oxygen from going in properly into your lungs. You're also stopping the oxygen from going into the blood. So what's happening? It's being suppressed. So more suppression. So we're in fear, we're in fight or flight. We're worried that something's going to get us, a tiger outside of us, or a tsunami, or whatever it might be, or somebody might get us, let's just say. And then you're suppressing the very nature of us being able to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. Okay? So we're suppressing that very nature. Now, when we breathe in through our nose or even in through our mouth, but of course we would rather breathe in through our nose, because what we're getting then is this calming down of the central nervous system. And if we breathe in through our mouth, we're actually exciting that. And we're breathing at the top of our lungs as opposed to the whole of our lungs. And our lungs are actually at the back as well. So if you imagine when you breathe, if you could imagine that and just breathe out, you're actually breathing deeper if you imagine that you're breathing out into the back of your lungs, okay? So if you're putting something over your face, then what are you doing? Firstly, it feels a bit claustrophobic for a start, right? So then you go into this kind of, oh, gosh, I can't breathe as much as I'd like to normally. So that's one thing. And secondly, you're also enhancing the belief system that something outside of you can get you. Okay. So we live, we're really, really lucky. We live on the south coast of England. We live by the sea. In fact, I can see the sea from where I'm recording this. And literally, I'm 1 minute from walking by the sea. It's also a beautiful sunny day today. So we have all of the light codes from the sun. We have vitamin D. We have incredible fresh air here. I mean, we're very, very fortunate. So why would I want to stop myself from taking in the full breath of life? I wouldn't. So I'd just like to invite you to think about it. Just before I was recording this, I saw somebody running down the road, exercising with something over their face. How can you exercise fully when you have something over your face? How can you run? All you're doing is putting stress on your body and stress on your lungs, which is the key thing that we really need to not do at the moment. So I'm just going to question answer. If anyone wants to ask me any questions, I will try my best to answer them. And if I can't answer them, I will point you in the direction of someone who might be able to answer them. So I'm just going to have a look. Zoe, hi. Zoe, good to see you. And Fabi, great. Morgan, brilliant. At the right moment, brilliant. So it's nice to see everyone. So has anyone got any questions they want to ask me about this? Perhaps from the perspective of putting something in your body as a shock, or I just have to be a little bit careful about the language we use. So if no one's got any questions, then I just want to open the door. So what we're going to do next week, we're going to have a healing, which is a group global healing that I do twice a month now. And I do it on the full moon and the new moon. So it's a full moon in Scorpio next week. So if you want to join my newsletter, which is susankennard.co.uk, then you can be part of that, and it's donation basis. So if you want to do some healing and consciousness work and whatever my guides get me to do, your experience, but also you will hear how this full moon actually affects you in your life from an astrological perspective. So as you can see, I like to incorporate the science and the spiritual. And then the following week, we're running some deep inner child healing retreats, virtual, obviously. And this is where we're really going to be working with the parts of us that feel the fear, feel the anxiety, and that as a child, we made a decision that the world was not safe. And so even if we don't feel that consciously, we hold that as a vibration within our energy. So it's really important for us to heal that definitely at the moment. And so we're going to be working really deeply with that. And what else is going on? There's going to be there's going to be 2 retreats a month which is working deeply at cellular level and healing. And that incorporates understanding about it, obviously, understanding why we hold that, but also healing it. So whatever you've come with, whether it's PTSD, whether it's childhood trauma, whether it's just beliefs, whether it's just a level of anxiety, or whether you just feel like you just would like to do some work on yourself, then that's key, really. Okay. And they're just £33, and it's 2 hours of healing. It used to be an hour and a half, but I always ran over. So I've decided to do it for 2 hours now. Okay. And I try and keep it to a really good time in the day and evening. So it's in the afternoon, which usually is okay for all over the world. So if you've got a question you want to ask me about this, I'm gonna go in a moment, because I've got 2 podcast interviews. I have a podcast called The Spiritual Awakener. So if you want to hear some incredible stories of people's lives and how they had a spiritual awakening or a turning point and how they helped the collective, that's a great thing to listen to. It's called The Spiritual Awakener. And I've got my YouTube channel. So if you want to do any more work on yourself or listen to all the interviews on my podcast, they're all on video. And if you've got a spiritual awakening story you want to share with me and my groups and my listeners, then I'd love to hear it as well. So just contact me. So you can either message me here, or you can email me. Yeah, Stacey said inner child retreats. Yeah, absolutely. Intuitionally, I got that yesterday, and I just felt we were going to do some work on money. And what my guide said was that what we really need to do is really work with that inner child, because that's going to bring more abundance and love and money into your life. So that's what I felt really strongly to work with. And it sort of has a domino effect throughout your life. So when you work with those childhood parts of you that didn't feel love, or we weren't given compassion at that time, or understanding, or just came into the world with the fear of survival, that's key. It's really key to attracting, manifesting, and being really a co-creator with the universe. Okay. And healing your body, of course. So we just recently ran 2 body healing retreats, which were amazing, and I loved it. It's absolutely right up my street, that subject. Yeah, Stacey was on that, so was Zoe. So that's brilliant. So if nobody's got any other questions, let me have a look. Any other questions? Yeah, Fabi, the quantum field, I like to call it the unified field, because there's no separation. Our soul consciousness is completely connected to the universe, and we're all one. And so there's no separation. So there's no separation from mind and body. There's no separation from soul, mind and body, and there's no separation to the universe. So nothing outside of us can get us, and it's just kind of that belief that we're brought up with, that we need to respect authority. We need to have an expert to tell us what to do. And these are just beliefs. These are just beliefs that we're brought up with. And really, 100%, we have all the answers within. Okay, so I need to go. So I will see you all later. And please share if you feel this will help somebody else. Just help somebody to not feel the fear too much. Okay, much love. Bye for now.